Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome on in. Thank you for waiting. Sorry, I need to do something quick before I turned on to one of my cats. It wasn't a big deal, but they knocked something over. And that thing touched the wall and then left like a little streak on the wall. I was like, oh, it was just like the paint from something, you know? So I had to like try to get it off the wall. But then as I was doing it, some of my normal wall paint was coming off. But I was just rubbing the scuff off lightly with a paper towel with a little water. Like I didn't even like soap and water it yet or anything because you can just wash your walls normally, you know. I hadn't even done that yet. I was just wiping it a little bit and like my normal wall paint was coming off and I was like, and I wasn't the one who painted that room. So I don't know. Whoever painted it before me, I don't know what fucking paint they were using. It wasn't chipping, it was like it was just coming off with water. I was like, what? Landlord special? No, no, no. No, I own this. Though this might have been rented before me. I don't know. I don't know. It is an old building, so maybe the age of the no, it shouldn't. I don't know. It shouldn't really. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna have to try and match some of this damn paint. I'm gonna have to go grab some paint chips, you know, whatever, with the little strip and try to color match as best I can. Because I don't have any of this paint. I didn't paint that place, so I don't know. Yeah, I think when they repainted, they just didn't do any treatment, anything. I think they just went to an old wall that was never cleaned and just painted over it if it just came off like that, you know? Especially the way it lightly rubbed off, it didn't even chip and flake off. Which means it was never like that adhered on. I don't know. It's weird. But now I got this like little streak with the paint's kind of like you know. Or paint all white. Oh, I don't like white walls. I don't like all white walls. It feels too corporate for like your home. I don't know. I think it depends on the room, like what you have in the room. If you also have some white furniture and then you have like a lot of really colorful stuff, it can be okay. But you have to balance those walls with a lot of colorful furniture and stuff, you know, which I don't have. A lot of my stuff is like nice neutrals. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't like color walls too much either, though. When people go for like a bright color, that's kind of ugly too. I feel like it's got to be like a light gray, light tan, you know, light off white, whatever. Um, or it needs to be like a darker bold color. Like a straight up navy blue or all dark green or you know what I mean? Like there aren't many light or bright colors that look good on walls unless you design literally the whole room around that color. But you got to plan ahead of time and I feel like that takes money. If you're going to do a room and you want it to be so cohesive, all the colors working beautifully together, whatever, uh you have to go around and buy like really specific pieces and specific fabrics and things. And I feel like you always will end up overspending a little when you do that versus just painting it something kind of normal that works, kind of neutral, and then slowly getting the room together. And then later being like, okay, now I could paint it X color, you know, whatever it is, because now I can see what's in the room. Right. But when people do interior design and they do it all at once and they do a crazy overhaul and they're like, look, room makeover. I feel like it's all yeah, there's a lot of custom stuff or stuff you overpay for, and I'm not down for that. I'm not down for that. Like that one Kardashian house. Oh yeah, Kim Kardashian's house. You ever see that one? I love the concept. They just didn't do shit to it, so it stayed so ugh. Um, here's like two different rooms in the house. Look at this. They want it to be like a light concrete, smooth, like palace feel. And I look at this and I'm like, yes, those are the bones of that. You could do something great. But then they just left this shit empty. Like the hallway on the left looks beautiful, but it has nothing in it. It's a beautiful base to do something to, but then they didn't do anything to it. You know what I mean? Like if you put vases or greenery on this, if you just accented everything with greenery, this would be gorgeous. Just greenery and like that warm fireplace is like the start of something, right? Where I'm like, ooh, the smoothness of everything, you could really go crazy. But then they did nothing to it. And I'm like, you might as well just leave it open and put no furniture in it. Right? Like, I don't know. Because I like minimalism, and I think minimalism lets you pay attention to things like the curvature of the top of the window, right? Like, there's a lot that you can pay attention to in macro shape when things are kept really minimalist. But this ain't it. You know what I mean? This is the basis for it. This is the canvas, and then they didn't put anything on the canvas. It's like being a painter, putting a canvas down and painting it white. Because you're like, I'm going to put oil paints on it. So you start with a layer of white, and then you just don't put any oil paints on it. You just leave the layer of white there. And then go, and I hung it on the wall in a gallery, you know? It's literally everything white. Okay, I will say these pictures don't do it justice in that they are, the brightness of them is cranked up. So a lot of the colors are off-white, and they're like this light stone color. It's this beige color, right? It's this you can see it on the fabric of that chair in the foreground where it's not white. It's off-white. It's supposed to have a very light stone feeling. And I see that and I'm like, I get that. If you did that and then like one other earth tone, like a light earth tone and then some greenery in here, okay. We could get somewhere, but they just didn't get anywhere, you know? It's freaking me out a little bit that they just left it. It's a little crazy. Because again, I'm all for minimalism, but this ain't the way to do it. I actually do like that they did everything kind of all beige, because I feel like I like this thing called color drenching. I like this thing called color drenching, where you make a room all one color. And it's an easy way to like make a room look like you designed it really well, but you just got stuff within a color because that's all you did. I'll show you an example. They used to do this way back in the day. If you've ever stayed in a super old like historic hotel and they're like, this is the blue room. It has sea themes. And like each room's unique and has a little whatever. That's what they used to do. Is it looks like this. Here's a one that's a green example. This is color drenching. Paint the walls all green. Paint the ceiling a green, but it's a little lighter. The rug is earth toned, slightly green leaning. The furniture is green, but you notice not all the greens are exactly the same. But that's good because when you go out and buy furniture piece by piece, it's hard to get exactly the same color. So, you know, so if you color drench, then you can kind of like it works because it's within the palette. And then they just added some browns because browns go with green, right? Like sometimes when they color drench, they add like one or two accents to make it pop. And I feel like this is so like easy to realistically do, but have it look like you did it on purpose. You know what I mean? I like color drenching when you like do a room like that. I don't like that they painted the fireplace though. Well, maybe that was all wood, so it should have been painted anyway, I guess. As long as you don't paint the brick, I'm glad the brick and the stone is still there. When people paint the brick on a fireplace, I want to strangle them, dude, because I think stonework and brick is like really beautiful, but I don't know. But yeah, like color drenching is really, really nice. And I feel like that's what she was going for, and then she fucking just left that shit. You want to see what my goal for my office is? It's kind of color trenching. It's this. This picture is similar to what I want to do with my office. I want it to be like this, where it's like a all dark, slightly blue, but mostly like grayish, not black. I think if you paint it perfectly black, then you can see all the dust. Even like this, you can kind of see the dust. I don't like that chandelier, so forget that. No thanks. But that's the color palette I want to do. That's what I want to do. I don't know about the candles in the fire. I don't have a fireplace near, so like obviously the architecture in the room's doing some of the lifting, and I don't have all that. But yeah, just like a nice, it makes it so like any wooden stuff you have like pops out really nicely. But I was gonna do something like this, or maybe a little more gray leaning. Let's see if I can find a good example. Color trenching gray. Because I've seen some really, because I love gray, but I like gray when it's dark, not necessarily light gray. I feel like light gray goes boring, but then dark gray feels like moody. You know what I mean? Actually, I was seeing some people do like a lighter gray that doesn't look too bad. I still wouldn't do it, but I love a nice gray. Here. Because my room currently is all gray stuff in general, so I kind of feel like this is the best way for me to not throw out all my furniture and still have it look good. Like this. Gray wall, gray curtain, neutral colored chair, and then, I don't know, table that's just got like a stone or wood top, boom. Rug of a different color, boom. You know what I mean? I don't know. I've just been thinking about it a lot because I've been in this place for a bit and I didn't worry about interior design for a while because I wanted to be fully settled in and decide what furniture I want. Not necessarily because of how it looks, but because of it functionally. Yeah, this isn't that dark. This is like a medium gray. But yeah, I wanted to like let this place be lived in for a little bit. Figure out where I want to put my existing stuff, where it all functions best, and then go through and like, you know, actually design. So I've been thinking about this for the past few months, and then slowly acquiring stuff. Don't buy from Ashley's Fuck That Store. Oh, Ashley Furniture. Really? Why? I'm trying to find good, dude. I'm trying to find furniture that is good and isn't shit, but doesn't cost a fuck ton. I sat in a chair. I made the mistake of going into a Crate and Barrel and sitting in a chair and going, oh my god, I love this chair. But the chair was $1,300. And it was just an accent chair. It was an accent chair. It was a singular accent chair. And it didn't even have a lot of padding on the sides or anything. It was a pretty open frame looking thing. It was very comfortable and I loved that chair. The angle was perfect. Great size for me. I was like, damn, I love this chair. Shit was $1,300. Who does that? Even if I made $500K a year, I probably still wouldn't be buying the $1,300 chair. Like I can't rationalize it. You know, I can't rationalize it. I just don't have it in me. I don't have it in me. And I'm like, damn, I just want a nice chair. I just want a nice chair, man. I want one nice, tasteful accent chair in this room because I want to stay in this room, but be able to get up and lay in something. So I'm not in this exact chair all the time, especially when I'm working on something and I want to be near my computer in case I need to like do a thing here and there. So I don't have to run across the place each time. But I want to sit in a different chair and be able to lean back and like read stuff. You know? I don't know. I'm okay spending some money on some pieces of furniture if I spend my life in it. So like this desk chair that I'm always in, yeah, I put money down on it. My mattress, yeah. My bed frame, not expensive. I got a shitty one. Because who the fuck needs an expensive bed frame? It holds my bed up. I've had it for years. You know what I mean? Like, I I don't really need anything fancy. I didn't even spend a lot on, I have one couch in my living room. I didn't even spend a lot on it because I found one that was good and wasn't expensive and looks fine. Could go the beanbag route. I don't like the beanbag route. My cats are gonna accidentally, they don't pick furniture, like they're really good at not purposefully doing it, but they will accidentally rip it open. Also, we can go here. Sorry, I was like prepping some shit. I'm in my Monster Hunter fit, by the way, because it's Monster Hunter Day. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like my cats would accidentally rip open a beanbag, so that's the reason why I wouldn't want to do it. They would pick at it, just trying to get up there to be with me. They wouldn't like purposely walk up and scratch it because they're really good at that. But you know, I don't know. Cheap metal bed frame, dump the savings into the mattress. Yeah, that's what I did. I got a really cheap bed frame and an expensive mattress that I never have to replace for a very long time. So, yeah. But I really want to, I don't know. I just want like some other seating thing in here that is, I don't know. I want something, I don't want a recliner. I don't want a recliner. Here, let me see. But I don't want an accent chair that has like a straight up kind of back. I want something a bit angled. I'll show you. Okay, this isn't the chair I was looking at, but this is like the angle and height of the chair I was looking at. Ready? Mine did not have an ottoman. This simple chair, but you see how it's leaned back a bit, including the bottom of it being pushed up a little, right? That's what I want. I don't want a recliner. I just want a simple accent chair that is comfortable, not tiny, because some of these are like tiny and I can't, you know, you can't really like lean in them. But I want one that is specifically reclined like this, angled back, but not a recliner. But whenever I find a nice one, they're like $1,200, like the nice ones, you know. And I'm like, Or they are that angle, but the cushioning is incredibly thin. Wood ain't cheap. I know. Well, it doesn't have to be wood. I don't care if it has that kind of frame or what. All I care about is the angle that it's at. That's literally it. I don't care what it looks like. So that the way it looks design-wise, not at all married to that in any way, shape, or form. Chair could look like anything at all. I just want it to be comfortable and be on that angle from the side. That's all. So, but every time I find something that fits the bill, they keep being from really fancy spots. Like one I just clicked on, I'm like, oh, that looks good, and it looks just like the one that I showed you with no ottoman. $1,450. $1,450. Why? What? That's crazy. You can get a decent like love seat for that price, which is what's like, that's what's so confusing to me. That is what's so confusing. I don't understand why these like nice looking accent chairs are hitting the same price point as like how much did I pay for? I have a couch that is like a love seat. It's just a 2-seater because I was in a really small place before this, right? So I was like, instead of getting a chair, I'm just gonna get one thing. It's gonna fill up this one wall and it has a long ottoman, and those together were under $1,000. So then when I see these accent chairs for over $1,000, I'm like, oh, because I'm always comparing it to that, you know? And I love that couch. I'm not throwing that out ever. That thing has to die. The cushion has to break apart and disintegrate before I'm throwing that thing out because I love it. And it's lasted so long. So like, so where are the reasonably priced chairs at? You know what I mean? Where are the reasonably priced chairs at, man? What's the most you want to spend on a chair like that? $2, dude. What do you... Anything reasonable, man. Facebook Marketplace? I don't have Facebook. That's my problem. That's my issue. I haven't had Facebook for, I don't know, since people were using it in college for college. I don't have that. They remind me of an Adirondack chair with padding. Kind of, yeah. It's the same idea where it's a low to the ground chair, like the seat is low, and then both the seat and the back are just angled back a bit. Very, very similar. That's literally all I want. Estate sales. That's true, but a lot of them need you to go to them in person, and then they're like, oh, we're open Friday and Saturday, and you have to come, out here and blah, blah, blah. And, I'm going to be honest, estate sales in the city are quite expensive. Okay? Estate sales in the city get a little crazy because there are a lot of businesses around here that handle estate sales, and they go snatch stuff up from the baseline ones and then resell. It's a little difficult in the city. Bless you, my cat. But yeah, it's a little scary. Oh yeah, you had a friend who was moving and dumped all his premium shit on you. That's how my first place that I ever lived. That's how I got a couple things. That's how I got my first TV, and my first TV like that. Because when I was like living with family way back in the day, I had nothing. I had a tiny shoebox to live in, So I owned nothing. I had a twin size bed. It was like living in a college dorm, even smaller than that with the room that I had like right before I had moved out. I had a bed and a desk with a PC. And then I had enough room for 2 tall dressers, meaning like a foot wide and then tall. And a closet that was maybe 2 by 2 feet. That was it. So I didn't own stuff. I had like my game consoles and things, and a lot of stuff that I did was digital, or I went outside to do it because I just couldn't like own a lot of stuff because I would have to fill my room with it. My room had no space, so I had some bookshelves with books way up at the top, like I had shelves up to the ceiling. I used all my vertical space. So I owned some books and video games, and that was it. That was it, because I had no space. So when I first moved out, I owned literally nothing. Literally nothing. I didn't take that bed out of there. So I bought myself a mattress and a bed frame and a new computer desk because I didn't have to have a tiny one, because now I wasn't in like that tiny, tiny, tiny space. So I got a normal computer desk. I brought my PC from there with me and got like an extra monitor. So I went to 3 monitors, which was like, wow. And then that was it. And I was in an apartment with just that. And it really, truly was that meme of like, dudes live like this. And it's like a TV, a CRT on a cardboard box and like a pillow in the corner. And like that was when I first moved out. That was what I had. I could have walked out of that house with a bindle, I could have had like a stick over my shoulder with a little bindle holding like a sack holding my belongings. You know what I mean? I brought like my books with me, and that was it. So I had like nothing. And since then I've gotten not much. I have a couple of furniture pieces. I have some more books. I have some more physical video games, but not a lot. I have cats, so I have cat furniture. And then while I was in there, I got, that small couch. That's it. My kotatsu. I actually owned that kotatsu while I was still living with family. But I could never set it up because I didn't have, I could not physically set up that kotatsu in that room. So it was packed up and shoved into my closet for a while. Because I was like, when I move out, I'm gonna set this thing up. I'm gonna set this baby up. But yeah. And then I did. And I had my kotatsu, and I bought a little couch. And a bed to sleep on. And that was it. That was it. Obviously, like, stuff for my kitchen, but like none of that's furniture, you know what I mean? Like, that's all like little things like plates and whatever. But Yeah, I don't know. And I own more stuff now, but I don't own that much stuff. So now that I actually have a place I could put stuff in, I'm like very choice paralyzed, you know? I'm so choice paralyzed with trying to pick furniture or like put things in here. I'm used to people just already owning things. I'm not used to going out and buying things, if that makes any sense. I went to hang out with a friend the other day. She and I were at the mall because she lives like way out of the way, so I went and visited her. And I was in a store and I saw like one little plate thing that was cute. And I was like, "Oh, that's so cute." And she went buy it. And I was like, "What?" What do you mean buy it? She was like, "You like it, buy it." And I was like, "What? No. Where am I going to put it?" And she was like, "In your place that you live in that's empty." And I was like, "Oh, fuck. You're right." Like, I was still not in that mentality. I was like, "Oh, shit, you're right. I could put it somewhere. That's crazy." And I've lived on my own for a long while now. Like, but I don't know. I still have that. I'm trying to get out of that mentality, but it's not happened. It's not happened. I don't know. I have so many spaces where I could put little like console tables or tiny bits of furniture, right? Because a lot of people just have little tables sitting around with a little decorative thing on top of them. But I don't buy little decorative things because I don't have a little console table. I don't have a single console table or a decorative table in here or a table against a wall to put stuff on. I don't have that. Shelf to put stuff on for decoration's sake. I don't have that in here. So I'm like, shit. I don't know. Yeah, get an empty shelf. It might prompt you to get more decorative things. That's what I'm thinking. If I got a random ass table or random ass shelf to fill a corner with no intent to put anything in it at first, then maybe I would end up putting stuff on it by default. I don't know. The floor, no. I have one shelf that's mostly a bookshelf in this room. And that shelf has books and video games on it. And then it does have a couple of like merch items. My own merch. And then I have the same shelf in another room. It's in my living room near my couch. And that also has some books on it. And you know what it has? A couple of tabletop games. That's it. It's so empty. There's so much space in it. There's like, I don't know. What do you put around? I don't know. I don't understand the concept of buying decorations. Just pure items just to look at. It's a little weird to me. I gotta figure that out though. I gotta figure that out. You said if you did that, you would have an empty shelf in your house forever. I worry that I would be like that too. Maybe. I don't know. And every now and then I like to do a sweep where I go through all my stuff and I get rid of anything unnecessary. I prune stuff often. So I think there's a chance I could get something decorative and then be like, I don't like this anymore. I'm gonna give it to somebody. You know, and then it would just get pruned. I don't know. I have to get a shelf for the merch. Yeah, that's the one thing I was thinking of doing. I was gonna start with is I have one tiny room it's the one that I call Matara's room. I was gonna make an area in there to put a lot of merch around, and that will probably be the start of me attempting to make things look like I decorated. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Love the Monhon armors that start like Xenoga's set. No, I'm supposed to be styled after Arkveld. Though we did take some inspiration here and there. I made this with Capcom's blessing, this outfit, actually. This was when I was sponsored to play Monster Hunter Wilds. I also debuted this outfit and I worked with them on it. Make Manta's room only have your merch in it? Well, it's just a little, like, small guest room, and it's mostly just an extra spot for me to store some stuff, because I don't really have a lot of storage space, so it's probably just gonna be that. It's probably just gonna be merch display. Because I was trying to decide what to make my office look like that I'm always streaming from, and I kind of don't want to cover this office in my own merch, because I feel like when I turn stream off and I'm done streaming and I'm not interacting with anyone as a streamer or anything like that, I shouldn't be in this room and look around and be like, oh yeah, and see all that same stuff all around me. Right? I think like you shouldn't live it too much. You shouldn't live your job too much. And obviously it's more than a job to me. Like it's also a hobby. It's also all these other things. A lot of my friends are through it. But I just feel like it's best to like have some degree of separation. So I want to put a lot of my merch in a different room, you know? And I don't want to put a lot of VTuber merch in general in this room because it's still, even if it's not like me, if it's my friend or whatever, it's still like I'm bringing that all home all the time, you know? So I'm thinking I want to decorate this room in a way where if you walked in, you would not know who works here, right? You wouldn't look around and be like, oh, it's her office because she's everywhere, you know? Because I feel like when I, like you need that separation a little bit, right? But I don't want to not display my merch either. I definitely want to put it somewhere because I don't want to like get it and be like, I love this, and then put it in a closet, right? Like that. I don't want to do that either. But yeah, I don't know. I need to find the balance. I'm working on finding the balance. You might need yourself a housewife. I do. I keep talking about that. I need a wife. I need a wife. She can decorate for me. I need it so bad. When you remove the Geega skin, you don't want to be reminded of Geega. Yeah, dude, I stopped streaming and I peel all my skin off and hang it up. Well, I'm just a skeleton. When I'm not streaming, I'm literally just a skeleton. I'm just a skeleton sitting at my desk. That is what I feel like. Not in a macabre way, but like literally, yeah. I identify with every time I see like a manga or a show or something and there's a character that's a skeleton, I'm like, yeah, I like that guy. maybe I'm just a skeleton. I don't know. Maybe. We all do have a skeleton in us. We all do. Haruka's your wife. Haruka is not gonna leave her Canadian what was the word I was gonna say? Utopia. She's got it good where she is. I don't want to drag her over here. She's not very housewifey. She needs a wife. We're the same. Me and her. Kate was your wife? Yeah, she's my long distance wife though. You know, I need a housewife. That's the problem. That's the problem. I don't know. Can I hire one? Can I hire a housewife? Can I don't know. Who's the most housewifey among the VTubers? I don't think you can judge them because every time I think a VTuber is a certain way, that in real life they're different. Everyone who like seems cold is the warmest person on the back end, and then everyone who seems like super nice is secretly like a murderer, like a serial killer. You know, they're all not as they seem. You know, so like you can't. Okay, maybe I was hyperbolizing a little, but you know what I mean. People are very different from how they seem. Is the point? Okay, that's the point. But they're very different. Or like someone who seems like they'd be really domestic, they usually have like the messiest room you've ever seen. I don't know. Personality and how you live your life in your own space are just like not very tight usually. Serial killer Henya. Well, I think we all knew that. Have you seen her play video games? I think we all knew that. Have you seen the way she was housing her Pokemon in Pokopia? I don't think she's hiding that. I don't know. Never convicted. Very true. Very true. Never convicted. Not real. Very true. I would say remarry Joel, but he seems like a hoarder. Joel is really, yeah, no, not a hoarder. Joel has a lot of stuff, but he's very particular, and I couldn't live with someone who's very particular. This needs to be exactly here, because I would be like, that's not efficient. You should put this thing here because you walk past it all the time, so it would let you draw. Like, I would say you need to put your keys in this spot. We need to move the spot where the keys go here because this is the spot that's closest to the door that you always walk past. And then if I was with somebody, okay, a roommate, my housewife, whomever, and they're like, oh, I want to hang the keys on this other little spot because it's a cute spot for it, I would be like, that's not functional. And right there, boom, I have to kick them out. Right there, evicted, you know? I couldn't do it. I'd jump within a week, yeah. So I like living, you know, in my own space, I don't mind sharing my space, as long as it's not my office, though. As long as it's not my office. As long as my office and my bedroom are mine, I'm okay. I'm all right. And I told you guys, right, I have a room that, like, I have a roommate. They're not always here, but, you know, one of my friends, like, comes in and out and stays a lot of the time. But because that's not 100% of the time, they haven't moved all their stuff in here, which is great because that's what I didn't want. I was like, I just want someone who wants to use this room. I don't want someone to be like, our place, you know what I mean? And like commandeer all of it. So it's like, it's a lighter version of it, which is nice. Yeah, the Geegan bee. They're here a lot, but she works a lot. But it's nice. No stuff. Well, some stuff, but stuff in one room, you know? That's what I wanted. Become a landlord. I talked about this many, many, many months ago. No, I have a friend who works in the area and has a long commute from where they were living and was like, this isn't working. And then they also work in another city and live part-time over there. So it was like a weird situation. And I said, hey, don't pay for 2 entire apartments. Like, that's a little crazy. You know, just be here when you're here. And that has been, that's been working out. That's been working out. I like that. Can I rent one of your rooms to build a data center in? Yeah, and it'll be 5 billion degrees. Yeah, that's so fun. So cool. Wow, great. And then you can siphon all my electricity. Take it all, dude. I'll let you do it for $5 million a month. I'll let you do it for $5 million a month. I don't know, man. I think, you know what I want to do? You know what I'm going to start with? I'm thinking about this place now. I'm thinking about my place. I want to start with hanging stuff on the walls that I never hung up. You know how much stuff I have? Well, it's not that much, actually. It's like a few frames. But the problem is, I was going to say, you know how much stuff I have that I haven't hung up. It's not that much. But they've all been leaning on the floor and leaning against the wall, kind of in the place I was thinking of hanging these things, because I wasn't sure and I wasn't decided on, yeah, do I want to put this here? Do I want to put that there? I only have like 2 things hung up, and they have like my main posters, my merch posters. But a lot of my normal artwork and stuff, non-VTuber stuff, right, is not hung up. I think I'll start with that. I need to do that. How about I rent that room to put all my plushie collection? I'm not letting any of you rent it. I'm not letting any of you rent it. Well, first of all, it's already occupied. Most of the time, not all the time. It's already occupied. So there ain't no room. Second of all, the other spot is Matara's room. So you can't have that. None of you are allowed to rent it. You'd have to fight her, and that's not going to happen. She would win. So, not open. Occupied. That's Matara's room. Yeah, just spray raid on her and you win. You just done. No, I don't have a huge place though. I had enough room for like one person to actually be here, and then like maybe I guess sometimes. So that's Matara's room. And that's it. That's it, man. I had one of my friends moved to the middle of nowhere in the Midwest. Um, she's got a job similarly to me where she doesn't have to live in any specific area for her work. She could do everything from home. And she moved out to the Midwest, middle of nowhere, bought a huge piece of land, built a huge house. And she if you look at her house, it looks like an influencer house, you know what I mean? Where it's just enormous and she's got the greatest view ever. She's kind of in like, I say the Midwest, but she's more so like closer to the mountains and stuff. Dude, I look at that and I'm like, fuck. Fuck, man. Like that's so nice. That's so nice. But if she wants to eat food that she's not, making herself, she wants to go out to eat, she has to drive a long time. And when she gets to that place, there are like 3 options. And there are more restaurants than that, but every option is basically the same type of food. So I'm like, because I couldn't do that trade-off. For her, that's fine. She mostly cooks at home. And she doesn't eat food from any specific ethnicities that she can't, buy the base ingredients for. So I was like, I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could handle that emotionally, I could not. Yeah, she's out there. She is. She's way, way, way out there. She have like a ranching license or permit? Well, I'm not going to give you personal information of hers, but that is the move. That is the move. You put like, 2 chickens and a goat on your property, and then you go, I'm a farm, I'm a ranch, actually. I'm not just a home, I'm a ranch. And then they're like, okay, your taxes are $2. That's what a lot of rich people do. They go buy a ranch in Wyoming and they pay some guy year round to take care of like 2 horses on it or something. And then their property taxes are $2. Exactly, Mike. That's what I was just saying. I'm telling you, rich people, Wyoming ranches, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. They all live in the same areas and they all buy up ranches, and it's a great way for them to sink their money but not have to really pay anything on it. They just want it in an asset. And man, the stuff they do is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh, you grew up in Wyoming? I didn't know that. So rich people basically get away with some shit there. Yeah, I'm aware. I have one friend who I still talk to who comes from a rich family. One friend, and her family has 2 ranches in Wyoming, 2 different ranches. And they go out there every summer. They go out there, oh, let's go to the ranch, let's go ride our horses and hang out. And they're there so infrequently that they might as well just rent it as an Airbnb. So some of them started renting it as Airbnbs for the rest of the year, and they hire someone else in someone else's company to fully run that. They just are the asset owner. And then they get passive income from it. And I'm like, it makes me go crazy. Insane. Your cousin's a property manager in the middle of nowhere, Colorado, and he just loves it. Drives around an ATV, makes sure nothing burns down. Yeah, exactly. Because they need someone who's physically out there to check up on their properties often. So that is like a necessary service for them. Easy money for you, I guess, if you do that. I guess. I don't know. You have an ex-coworker who takes care of Airbnbs and Verbos. He makes about $175K doing most of the work himself. I've heard that people started doing that a bit more. Yeah. Wonder you find a gig like that. I think that's a hustle. Your own entrepreneurship. You do something that gives you relevant experience, and then you kind of find your way into it. You probably have to be socially apt, right? Maybe it's something like you run a little cleaning service for a while, and you offer to clean maybe there's an Airbnb that you managed to get like a weekly deal with where you clean theirs after each thing. And then from there, you're like, do you want me to help beyond cleaning. I could help, make sure that the key gets to the right person and collect the key at the end, right? I feel like it's one of those things where you weasel in slowly. Not weasel in a bad way, but you know what I mean. That's how it seems. Or maybe you're in real estate and someone you sold a house to then wants to have it be an Airbnb, and they ask you a question when you're selling it about like, oh, how does this work legally? You could be like, oh yeah, and if you need property management services on that, let me know, right? Like, I think it's a lot of people that are tangentially related to that sort of thing, and then they kind of like, yeah, they just network into it. Yeah, definitely a who you know thing. But I feel like if you want to do that, you can make it happen. You could probably make a website that looks legit, do one or two odd jobs that give you some sort of relevant experience relating to that, and then just be like, we have these services, and you just start cold contacting. That's it. That's how a lot of businesses start. Is you just, it's the hustle. You said that was my previous job in the office team of one. Lots of under the table deals and compromises instead of payouts. Yeah. That's the problem. That's the problem. A lot of people, when they're in those hustle type jobs like that, where a guy, whatever, a lot of people get where they need to be by doing a lot of favors and going unpaid for a while. So a lot of people that become successful and have a business that eventually makes them a bunch of money, if they started out on that kind of hustle, you feel good for them because you know that they probably went unpaid just doing like work for resume experience and everything for a long while before actually managing to get payouts. So more of a delayed gratification kind of thing. I think streaming is like that too, where you stream and you make nothing at first and you treat it like a hobby, and eventually if it makes money, that's cool, but it has to offset all that time you spent not making money earlier. So even if you make really, really good money later, you have to consider that you probably put years into it not making anything, right? And now you're playing catch up on that a little bit, because very rare that someone starts out and just makes money like right from the get-go. That usually takes years. It's the case with any business typically. You got a decent job because you were in a Destiny 2 clan with a guy? Okay, unironically, a lot of my friends have gotten into good jobs because they knew someone online. From gaming with them or being in a community with them or something. And it's kind of nice to see that the who you know thing doesn't end in real life. It also kind of translates to online connections you make, which is nice. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to stop there. It's not like you have to literally go outside every single time. Does that work better? Probably, but got a decent job because all the guys who hired me went to the same university as me. Yep. I think getting pulled into something because you know the right person is fine so long as you can perform, right? Being someone who has pulled other people into things because I knew them, it's more so like, I know I can trust this person, so I'm going to bring this person in. And I want to do right by them because they've done right by me, right? So it's just like, good networking and all that. You've been to a wedding in the UK to one of your WoW buddies. Oh my god. There's an entire couple that is getting married. Or is married, technically. That formed because of this community. There have been people that have met here and now gotten married. Isn't that insane? Isn't that insane? And I love to go to them and be like, if I weren't here, you wouldn't be with each other. You wouldn't know each other. Just to be annoying, just to be annoying, I love to bring it up. If it weren't for me. Who want me? Who want me? It's you and the grind. No, I was already married to the grind before I even started streaming. That's my long term. If they sent you an invite, would you go? I don't have a corporeal form. But I did say I want to show up on a device. Like, legitimately. Like, there better be a place setting for me. There better be a place setting. I want to show up on a little iPad. I want to show up on a little iPad, and I'm propped up there going, "Hey guys," I'm next to Graham. So did you know they met because of me? You know. Little iPad with a bow tie. Oh my god. Wonder how they tell people they met. I don't know. I've had some friends meet online, and some of them straight up are like, "We played WoW together at their wedding," and others are like, "We met through mutual friends," and the mutual friends were a raid static in WoW. You know, like it's the same thing, but I've heard it get worded very differently. I think it depends on the families. I think it really depends. Some families are very involved in what you do, even if they don't know everything about it. They like to know, "Oh, you play video games. Oh, that's great." You know, and you feel like you can tell them. And there are others that are just not worth saying, you know? The mutual friend was Garrosh Hellscream, literally. Literally. Thank Garrosh. Thank Garrosh. Cannot begin to explain how I know some of my closest friends' life is just like that. Yeah, I don't know how I would tell people in real life how I've met some of my like VTuber friends that I'm now very close with. Some of them are like some of my closest friends at this point. I would just say I work with them. I think I would just say I met them through working, not like they were literally my coworker, because that's a little different. That's more so if you're like in the same corpo, I guess you could say you were a coworker legitimately. But, you know, a friend from work, yeah. Yeah. How do you guys make friends in your adult lives as people who are not streamers? I have lived that life and I know what I did. But I had a lot of friends from stuff outside of work. But do you at all? I feel like it's, yeah, I was gonna say Blazing. I was gonna say Discord. I feel like I see a lot of you hang out in Discord, and I'm glad to see it. But I always wonder, like, do they have good ways to do this IRL, or is this like, you know, the spot? It kind of seems like that's the spot, right? Because you have more in common, I would think. Coming to Pokemon TCG. A lot of people saying Discord, yeah. Yeah, work, friends of friends, friends of relatives. And you got, yeah. People in my field have become great friends, but I have a tiny field. Yeah, I guess it depends on what kind of job you're in, what kind of corporate environment. My former work, I bounced around a lot. Between a lot of different things, a lot of different people and everything. I didn't always have, like, you know, one steady office to go to every morning for 5 years, you know, whatever. Like, I didn't really get that because I was always bouncing around to different things. So that's why for me, I didn't really have that many work friends. It was mostly people that I knew beforehand or from hobby stuff instead. I was just curious. I'm curious for people that, like, you know, have a salaried position in one job where you're in that office for a couple years. You know, like, do you end up making a bunch of friends at work or not really? I'm curious how many of you actually end up doing that versus you're just kind of cordial with them. Because I was friendly with people that I worked with, but again, I would then move on to the next thing quickly. So you don't always stay close if you don't see them all the time, you know? Don't really need super close friends to BH. Well, I'm gonna be honest, whenever your friends get a partner, they fucking dump you. So I feel like most people, they're just like, they've got a couple friends and they're just like, well, one day I'll get a partner and leave the rest of you. Goodbye. They fucking, and it's not like they want to dump their friends. It's just that you get so caught up in it, right? I see people like really just unable to work on anything else in that moment. It's all they could think about, and I understand it. I say, okay, goodbye. see you never, you know. And I don't really get mad at them, but it's just sad because, you know, they're just gone. They're just gone. That's just how it is.
8 of my 10 best friends came from Discord/playing video games.
Yeah.
The other 2 out of the 10 are my co-workers.
I feel like I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot nowadays, especially this community. A lot of people just being like, "Oh, I'm gonna join the book club," and now who do you talk to weekly? The book club, right? Things like that. One person from the book club is now my best friend. That sort of thing. Oh, you had a friend of 30 years up and ghost you after they got married? I know. I had, I get it because they're trying to really, like, move forward with life. But I think it's healthy to have friends. I think it's very healthy to have friends. I've always had very close family. So if I wanted to, I could dump every single friend, every single non-blood relative, or non-relative, friend in general, and still feel like I had a lot of friends because I have a big family that, you know, does like to hang out. But I think it's important to be around people that, you know, are very, very, very different from you. Then again, my family's huge and a lot of them are very different from me, but still, you know, I think I don't want to say the word diversity, but you know what I mean. Lots of different people from different walks of life, different areas, all that kind of stuff. I think it's important for me to stay sane. So, right? And I don't really want to narrow my scope of people, if that makes sense. Your longest friend you literally met in a game called Active Worlds like 30 years ago. Holy. I do have one friend that I've been friends with since the 6th grade, who I still actively talk to a lot. And I have a few from maybe early college. They weren't from my college, but they were from that time that I'm friends with. But I only really talked to 2 of them. So I've got 3 very long-term friends that I talk to. And then others that I could contact occasionally and it wouldn't be weird, but I don't like actively do anything with them, you know? But outside of that, yeah, they're the only ones that I actually like reach out to hang out with. I just hang out with family. I got 1,000 cousins. I have 1,000 cousins, and you know, some of them I don't fuck with, but most of them I really, really like, genuinely. So most of them I can just call up any day, call up. There's always someone in my family I could call. Like if I was just sitting here and I was like, I'm lonely, I could just call a family member and go, let me come over. And they would go, oh my God, yeah. And I could just do that. So I don't know. I feel like in these times, online friends, because you have that kind of access to them. You know what I mean? Even if you're not going out to hang out, Discord gives you that, right? You can just hop in a VC. I think that's goated. Either having nearby family that you can hang out with, if you like them, big if, or having like friends on Discord. Those are the 2 best things for like social interaction, right? Because it's you can do that casually in between everything else. You know? Could do that in Discord. I wish I had that with my family. I am, as someone who's very close with their family, I am of the mindset that it's all kind of the same. People like to put a really cool label on family, like it's some mystical, magical, special thing. But I think if you simply spend a lot of time with people and let them know a lot about you, they are almost no different. It's just how you treat them at that point, if you treat them like family or not. I have some really close friends who are no different to me than my family members because I'm so involved in their life and they're so involved in mine. We know things about each other. We've known each other for a long time. Maybe they haven't known me as long as my family members who knew me since I was born, obviously, but they know a lot of that information because I've just talked to them about it. So to me, I feel like they're in the same bucket as family. Would I literally call them my family members? No, but everything about how I treat them is the same, right? If those friends went and like had kids, I'd be like an aunt to those kids, you know? Because it's just that same kind of, yeah, there's a slot, right? Yeah, exactly. There's like a slot that they slot into, and there you go, right? So I think it's nice to have that stuff with family, but if you don't have that kind of close relationship with a lot of family members and you don't have them nearby, doesn't mean you can't get that experience in life. You absolutely can, you know. Yeah, yes, I'm just lamenting that none of my blood relatives are that close. It's nice, but a lot of the niceness beyond just them being like very close friends um is mysticism in a way, right? It's at most you share some genetic material, but that doesn't mean anything really. I think a lot of media makes you think it means something, and I hate when media is like, I want to find my real dad, and some kid who was adopted is like, I need to find my real dad, and I'm like, your real dad's the one that raised you, and he's right there, and you just ran away from him. You know what I mean? I hate when media does that stuff because I'm like, you're just giving people complexes they don't need to have, right? They don't need to feel bad about any of that, you know? Yeah, exactly. So like your friends can be just as good and better. Exactly, Nick. Like your friends can be your family, and you don't even have to call it found family. You just say this person is closer to me than any brother. It's just a slider, closeness slider. How much you care about them slider, right? Right? There's no like specific mold to fit into or anything. You know? But yeah. So I have some friends that are super close. I have some family that's super close. I have some family that I don't want to fuck with. There are some where I'm like, I don't like you and I have nothing in common with you. Stay away, right? Most of them are good though. Most of them are fine. There's some that I love being friendly with, but I don't want to tell them everything about me. I don't feel that level of closeness either. So, you know, people are people, right? People are people. Never like when people put things like found family and the like on a pedestal. Think people want to make their life sound magical. I think I wouldn't say it's always so, like, I think the way you're looking at it is a little cynical. I think it's usually just them doing two things. One, trying to feel something special because, like I said, media always portrays like your quote unquote real family as like this mystical, magical thing. So they're trying to say, well, I also have this mystical, magical thing. It's my found family. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're trying to put other things down. It's more like they're trying to put it up next to what other people are saying about like their real family, quote unquote, right? If that makes sense. They feel like they're playing catch up, so they start to like romanticize it a little. And then also a lot of the time I think they're just trying to express how much they love it, but they don't know what to say. So they're like, this is my found family. Really what they mean is just these people are so close to me. That's all they mean, but they're just trying to like really drive that home and express that, because when you say close friend, people don't assume closer than family members, right? But that's what they mean. So they're trying to like articulate that, and it just comes off as like, here's my magical family with glitter and sparkles all over them, or whatever. So fancy and cool, but I think they're just trying to articulate and they don't know how. Right? He says a queer person found family means something more when a lot of us have been rejected by our relatives. Yeah, and as a non-queer person, same thing with if you have any family that rejects you, and obviously certain groups are going to deal with that more, right? I think anyone who sorry, I'm choking and dying. Oh, ever since I woke up today, I've been like, because it got dry. But I think I don't know, like a lot of people have dealt with like some sort of rejection from family members or something. And so having that close friendship that kind of replaces that is really important to them always. Because they feel like they missed out on something, and other people or media told them that they missed out on something, when not necessarily, because you can just fill those slots with other people that are great, right? But they're just trying to like make that obvious. Okay, I think I'm done like choking. You know what it is? I cleaned my humidifier, so I didn't have it on last night. I cleaned my humidifier. I did a nice washing of it, so it was sitting there drying. and I didn't have it on. And then ever since I woke up, I'm like, you know, like choking and dying. I'll just keep drinking water. I'll just keep drinking water. You got food poisoning this morning. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, when I was sick the other week, I was like laid out on the floor dying, and I didn't have food poisoning, but I had that same like weary feeling where you just lay down on the bathroom floor. I was like throwing up. I had a stomach bug, and I like threw up, and then I was just like, you know, when you just lay down on the cold tile. That was me, just laid out, moping. Glad that's over. It was a quick one though. I had that stomach bug for 2 days. 2 days and it was gone. So that's the thing. Sometimes I feel like I would take a stomach bug that kind of gets you for 2 days over that week and a half respiratory infection. Because even though it's awful and you feel like you're dying in the moment, at least it's over. It's done. It's gone. Respiratory stuff, I feel like the ghost of it stays with you. You get a cold and you're still going for the next 2 weeks. No matter what you do. I'd rather take the, you know, poop my pants, throw up in the toilet thing for like 2 days and then just be done. And then a day later, I'm like, oh, I could go for a jog as long as I hydrate, you know. I'd much rather the quick one and done. I mean, caught COVID last year and that shit lingered for months. It's bad. Did you see they were doing some research and they found that there's a special enzyme in natto that, you know, it's literally called, like, I don't want to say nattoase, but what is it called? Let me find it. Natto enzyme. There's an enzyme created when they make natto. Natto kinase.
Do your food poisoning is great for weight loss. I lost 20 pounds last time. Faction redeems.
Yeah, when you just poop your life out. Natto kinase. It's an enzyme that they can extract from natto, and it's a natural blood thinner and breaks down blood clots. And they found that it's been particularly good at breaking down the blood clots that are formed when you have COVID, which is really interesting. So they were like, now I don't know if just eating more natto like does that. I assume so, because you absorb stuff into your blood when you eat it, right? It gets into your bloodstream, all the goods you're supposed to take from it. But they're trying to isolate it because they were testing that enzyme in particular on blood clots formed by COVID, because the blood clots formed by COVID, there's something about them. And I was reading, and I don't remember the names, but there were certain things in there that were making them a little extra hard for your natural enzymes to just kind of break down as a human. All the stuff that you tend to make. So they were like, here's some enzymes that work well that you can absorb from foods that break them down well. They were finding the one from natto was like really good at it. Really, really good. So I thought that was really interesting. Really interesting. Not necessarily we digest food, including enzymes. Yeah, that's the thing. Some things will break down just straight up into like little amino acids, and then you'll rebuild whatever you need, and then other things might actually full absorb. So I think that's why they were trying to maybe isolate it, because I'm not sure if it absorbs into you the same way as some do. So I don't know. But if they can do that research, and then they can make a little thing that's, I don't know, injectable. However they want to end up doing that, could be cool. So there's a greater than 0 chance that some of my neuropathy is due to COVID. There's a lot of stuff that got worse with it, and I think there's a lot of long-term effects that people have been having. I know Hark had some of the worst of it. I wonder. I'm pretty sure I had it at some point. I never got crazy sick during any of that time. And I've never tested positive for it. So I don't know. But I can only assume, I feel like almost everyone's gotten at least a mild amount of it, a mild viral load at some point, right? Almost everybody. Especially if you go outside at all, and, you know, being in the city, I feel like there's no way I never had it in any way in me, right? Whether I showed symptoms or not. And still around. So, I don't know. I wonder, even if you're just a carrier and you're not really having major symptoms, I wonder if you still are likely to have some issues from it or not, if it's more so that you have to get like a full-blown infection. Vaccine kicked your ass worse than COVID did. Oh, the vaccine knocked me the fuck out. All right, the first one was okay, and then the booster had me on the floor. I was like, I felt like I had the flu. I had shivers. I was like, oh, it just hit me so hard. But the normal vaccine, I was fine. So I don't know. My booster, I've never gotten a shot, an injection, anything, and like passed out. But I got the booster. And I was sitting there and I was fine. They have you sit for like 10 minutes after, and I was just sitting there and I was fine. I was like, okay. And I stood up and started walking. And then as I was walking, I started to gray out. I was holding on. I was like, don't pass out, don't pass out. But my vision was going and shit. And I was like, why? And it was right after it. It was weird. Because I've never been the type to pass out just from needles. So I was like, is it something about my body trying to absorb this all of a sudden that it's just having a rough time? I don't know. But yeah, I was like almost passing out in that damn place. And they had to like sit me down. I had to get like, dragged over to a chair to sit down because I was just crumpled on the floor, and I was just like, I'm staying awake. So I never full passed out, but I might as well have been passed out because I was useless, I was fully useless. Man. It was rough. But hopefully people stop getting it or build immunity or don't get any long-term side effects anymore as soon as possible. Just, keep safe or whatever. One of the best things you can do, besides washing hands, I mean, they've already talked about washing hands, all that. One of the best things you can do is just step outside a little more, fresh air. If you're in an enclosed space with people, try to be in as much of a non-enclosed space as you can more often. Crack open a window, things like that, and just get a lot of fresh air cycling in. It's the best thing you can do besides just keeping clean, Ooh, if your job was to buy used dirty clothes from the public during the pandemic. Oh, man. You were like literally covered in COVID. That's crazy. That's insane. Yeah, some people's jobs, I mean, there was just no way to do anything. Teachers had a rough time, especially. I got a few friends that are teachers, and they all got the worst of it, especially if they teach younger kids, because, you get coughing baby, where they do the iPad cough, baby sticks out his tongue, goes right, like right into the air, into your face and stuff. Oh, all of them dealt with COVID. It was so bad. Teachers get the worst of it. When you're just talking to an 8-year-old and they go to cough into their elbow because their mom said they should, and they cough once, they go into their elbow, and then they turn to you and they keep coughing. They go like, anyway, so as I was saying, I don't know if you've ever experienced that. Oh, it's so frustrating because they're doing it because they were yelled at, not because they understand why they're doing it. But you can't be mad at them because they're a kid. That's the worst. iPad baby cough. My God. Oh, yeah, you got COVID 2 years ago because iPad coughing kids would cough around the checkout when you were at Walmart. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I just don't care anymore if I'm in public and someone's kid is coughing and not covering their mouth. I look at them and I go, you should cover your mouth. I don't give a fuck. I will tell your kid what to do. And I say it very nicely. I go, you should cover your mouth. And I nod. And I'll like mime it at them. Like, yeah, when you cough, you should do this. I don't give a fuck. Because some parents will be like, don't tell my kid what to do. I'll go, oh, you're right. Next time I'm sick, I'm going to cough on your child. What do you want me to say to you? I don't know. As a male, I'm not allowed to talk to any children. I get that. I understand. It also, unfortunately, heavily relies on what you look like. Because if you look like a dad, if you look dad-coded, and you're wearing, like, I don't know, a shirt with a little Vineyard Vines logo on it, they might be like, oh, that's just a nice man. But you dress any other way and normally at all, and they'll be like, whoa, who are you talking to? Don't talk to my kid. I think the Vineyard Vines quarter zip or like a little button up is like the only way to you know. Oh, I don't know. You were a male working in daycare and you don't do that anymore. It sucks. It sucks. I totally understand people being wary, but I had some male teachers when I was young that truly loved the kids and just wanted to teach and were great. And I just feel bad for anyone who's, really trying to do good stuff. Even some of my own friends that are dads will take their kid to a playground and be standing at the edge of the playground while their kid plays, and people walk up to them and be like, why are you here? Because they see them without a child, standing there at the playground. And they're like, what are you doing, huh? And they'll be like, that's my kid over there, playing, who I'm watching like a good dad. And they'll still have like some random ass moms be like, what's going on? And it's just, I feel so bad for them. I feel so bad. But then I could go stand near the playground and stare and no one would say anything to me. They would just assume I was like one of the moms or something, right? So it's just... But I also understand the wariness. I think there's nothing wrong with being wary. It's just you don't have to treat people like they've already committed a crime. You don't have to walk up and be like, oh, standing at the playground, are we? You could just be like, oh, which one's yours? But, oh, are you one of the dads? Right? Genuine question. And if they are, then they can introduce themselves. And now you have a playground friend. Yay. Right? Like, I don't know. Nothing wrong with being wary. It's just the tone. It's the tone. I don't like their tone sometimes. Anyway, speaking of kids, we're going to raise kids today. And by kids, I mean monsties. And by monsties, I mean monsters that come out of eggs in this video game. But you could also call them kids, right, Nucky? My child is here. My son, Nucky. Do you want to sit on my lap? Is that why you're here? I gotta move my legs. Hold on. You want to sit here? Is that why you're here? The moment I said kids, he showed up. He knew. Good boy. Oh, so comfy.
WW
so
Segway.
comfy. W Segway. I love a good segue. I love it. Right, Nucky? Nucky, my son. Nucky, do you like eggs? Actually, he loves eggs. He loves them. Hesty! Hesty, thank you for the raid. Hello. Welcome on in. Apex Gundam. Oh! Oh, did you play the Gundam update? Did she play that today? What did she do today? So you're saying gambling debt, so I don't know. I don't know. I really want to play the update. I haven't played Apex in a while. I've been playing Marathon. Yes? Ooh, okay. It looks really cool, and I'm like, damn, I wish they released that type of update when the game like was first out and everyone was playing it. But Apex never really died or anything like that. It's still really, really popular, so I might go play the update. I haven't played in a hot minute, and I've been meaning to go back. Because I played Arc Raiders for a bit, and now I'm on Marathon. Wasted all our money to get the beam saber. Oh, yeah. No, that's so worth, though. That's so worth. I don't know if you guys like Gundam, but it's so worth. I was a big Armored Core fan. I like anything mecha, though. Anything mecha. And I always played, the game that Respawn made before Apex was Titanfall, right? Titanfall and Titanfall 2, which was a game that played a lot like Apex, but it had more movement. It had wall running, and it had giant mechs in it that you could get in. Almost like an ult. And I've missed that. And I've been saying this whole time, like, they gotta add mechs to Apex. But I guess their whole compromise is just do a, a Gundam thing. I guess this is their in between. Hey, look, we added Gundam skins. It's basically mecha. I don't know. Peak mentioned. I was a big Titanfall fan, but that's why I liked Apex because yeah, it didn't have the same amount of crazy movement, but it had like the gunplay, so it still felt good. So I really liked Apex for that reason. And I like BRs. I like battle royales. I don't care if you like them or not. I love them. I love them. We're gonna play Rages. We're gonna play something really different from that today, though. Monster Hunter Stories 3 comes out, and I'm gonna play it. As you can see, I'm in my hunting outfit right now, and we're gonna play Monster Hunter Stories 3 because I did play the demo. I'm not gonna. So the demo progress for Stories 3 carries over, but if they give me an option to reset it, I'm actually gonna reset it and redo some of it because I had like a weird. I don't remember if it was an internet or power issue. My stream went down for a little bit when I was playing the demo. And because of that, you guys missed like the climax of one of the early cutscenes and everything. Like you guys missed all of it. So I'll redo. And maybe just go a little quick through the combat or something. It was the worst timing. It was literally they were like, "Oh my god, the thing." And it was like the whole point of the early cutscene, and during that was when like my stream went down and I was still playing the game. So I couldn't pause it. So I saw the whole cutscene and all of you didn't. So I think we'll go back cuz it's not like there's too much to redo. But yeah, you get Twitch badge if you gift her sub while she's in the game category, FYI. You do. They have one of those Twitch promotions where I think the badge is the Palico mascot. I think it's him. Right? Pretty sure it's him. You know, people have been calling him the Peace Out Cat. Yeah, Rudy. They've been calling him the Peace Out Cat because there are memes of him like when he like says bye to you in one like cutscene, he like does a peace sign and turns and walks away. So they've been like, you know, like the vanish, yeah, the little vanish thing. They've been like calling him the little vanish cat or peace out cat. I've seen so many Rudy memes. Yeah, let's go over and play it. Let's go over and play it. Let me open the game. Doo-doo-doo. Yes, Steam, you may make changes to my whatever for this game.